first thing, what is Sharia law? I think this is a big problem that we see, and this is not something that's an accident, but there is actually a movement, like in Indiana and Idaho, to stop Sharia law. Who's calling for Sharia law in Idaho? It's hardly any Muslims in Idaho, right? This is all xenophobia, right? Sharia law is an Islamic method of governance. And all we know in the West about Sharia law is cutting hands and cutting heads. But that's not what Sharia law is all about. Sharia law means the law that is based on the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet. And every Muslim in their faith believes in the Quran and what's in the sayings of the Prophet. So we all believe in it. But now, what does Sharia law mean? This is the place where people get misty or muddy or whatever. Sharia law has to do with governance through justice, through making sure that you have prevention instead of cure. For example, in Saudi Arabia, you go to Saudi Arabia, and I've done this, you could leave your wallet somewhere, and you come back and it's still there. You could leave, like I have an uncle who left his briefcase in a taxi that had money, that had his credit cards, everything. The taxi driver drove around looking for him to give it back to him. And it's not because Saudis are any better people than us, but because if the fear is that your hand's going to get chopped off, you're not going to do the crime. So Sharia law is about prevention instead of cure. What do we do in the US? We're like, let them commit the crime. And then what happens? Some little kid does some, misdemeanor somewhere. He gets arrested. He goes to prison. What happens in prison? I used to give lectures in prison, so trust me, I know. You have to hook up with a gang. Either you're going to be with the Sureños or Norteños, or you're going to be with the Aryan Brotherhood or the Black Guerrilla family. Now you went in for some minor crime. Now you're having to stab somebody or becoming somebody's bride, and you don't want to do that. So it really becomes worse and worse. You breed criminals. There is no rehabilitation in prison.
And it's a for-profit system, which is a really big problem.
And that's another problem. Prisons are for-profit. So their idea is to keep you in. Your probation laws, your parole laws are made to bring prisoners back. So what does that do? It develops a system where you put people together in a horrible environment, run by criminals, and what do they do all day? Work out, get stronger, and make schemes and plans and network with criminals. And you think they're going to come out and become better citizens? You got tattoos all over your face. What kind of job interview are you going to go for? So this is one type of system. Islam is a different system. In Islam system, you make the law such that innocent cannot be persecuted. You have to have witnesses. You have to have clear evidence. You have to have a system that governs to make sure the innocent are not punished. And those who do break laws, and again, there is checks and balances. If somebody's underage, they're not able to know right from wrong, they haven't hit puberty, they don't know, then they're not held accountable. If somebody's insane, they have mental issues, they have mental judgment problems, they're not held accountable. Somebody's sleepwalking, somebody's an accident, somebody's stealing out of starvation, they're not held accountable. But if somebody's out stealing big amounts of money, we're not talking about candy, anything that's small, but somebody's out robbing, carjacking, breaking into houses for fun, that person gets a punishment, such as a hand cut, that makes an example that nobody ever does that again. So that is the essence of Sharia law, to have peace and stability in society. And once you look at that, then every Muslim believes in that.
Thank you.
Cool.
That was the call prayer.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see it then.
The fourth one.